Hello, Wise Pineapples. Welcome to the Juicy Tidbits podcast, where my mission is to energize you, your team, and your sweet results. I'm your host, Christine Trippi, the Chief Fun Officer here at the Wise Pineapple. Today, my guest star is Craig Poole. When I asked Craig how to introduce him, he simply said to me, "Introduce me as your friend." That's all I need to say for you to see the quality and humanity of my next guest. However, I'm going to tell you that Craig is the president of Reading Hospitality, who with his belief, love, and humanization of profits has revitalized the community of Reading, Pennsylvania. He is simply becoming one of my all-time hospitality heroes. Please welcome Craig Poole. Welcome, Craig. And Craig is coming from beautiful Allegheny Mountains. Did I say that right?
Right, in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. Look at that beautiful blue sky. That's awesome. Well, Craig, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to help me re-energize our pineapple community. You're a community builder, and I knew I had to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's an honor. I can't believe you asked me to be on it, so I'm thrilled.
Please. Oh my God, you were one of the first people I thought of. I love you.
I put my best background on today for you to see. I ordered sun and clouds and blue skies because I know you have a lot of energy, and I hope an eagle will fly by.
Ooh.
I asked for one, but I don't know.
Well,
we'll probably see a deer too.
Okay, that would be awesome. You'll just have to let us know. Now, I touched on your story in the introduction about how you revitalized the town of Reading, Pennsylvania, and your story with your hotel is incredible. And I was hoping that you'd share a little bit of that with our Wise Pineapple community.
Sure, I'd love to. So,
great.
And the great thing about this story is it's overcoming a city, but also helped us overcome the pandemic. So It's a good story about being selfless, about being resilient, about putting a heart and a pulse into a city or into your own building. While even after the pandemic, we have to keep the heart and the pulse moving. Mm-hmm. So when we built this hotel in Reading, it was the second poorest city with the second highest crime rate in the United States. Nothing was built in for many, many years. And that's where I discovered the heartbeat and the pulse that had nothing. Nothing's been open 24/7, 7 days a week for years that was legal.
Really?
So we built this beautiful hotel, DoubleTree, and with the 209 rooms and 27,000 square foot of banquet space in a high risk area in the center of the city. And most people said it's not going to survive. It'll never make it a year. And now we're 6 years in.
And how many awards do you have?
Yeah, a whole lot. We won a lot of awards. So when we win the awards, we do it, not me. I'm the leader of it.
I get that.
And I keep people pumped like you. And I keep people believing like you. And I keep people moving forward, not going backwards. So I always tell people, you can't look backwards because you can't do anything about it. Just look today, make today great, make tomorrow great, and you'll be great. When we hired the people, they were marginalized. Most of the people have never been in a building like this in their lifetime. It's the population of Reading is 100,000, and I think 76 or 82,000 are Hispanic, and they don't even speak. A lot of people don't even speak English still in that city because that's what happens in poor communities that have been forgotten, or poor hotels where they can't speak. I got a dog.
Oh, that's okay. He's welcome too.
Hey, no.
What's his name?
Guthrie.
Guthrie, it's so cute. I can hardly hear his little bark.
Our dog before him's name was Woody.
Woody. Oh, that's so cute.
So this one was called Guthrie.
I love it.
But
talking about how you said the people were marginalized and whatnot. I love learning about how you didn't prejudge anybody. their history was their history. They started with you on day one, and they started a new history. And you have hired people who were incarcerated. You've hired people that previously had drug problems, and
Right.
you know, in this hiring crisis that we're having, I like to talk about you and tell people about how you're not having hiring issues at the moment, are you?
No.
Yes. So
No,
tell
we
me a
have
little bit about
we
that.
have a hiccup, but not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
We have everything. We have everybody in place. I didn't have a lot of turnover, and I decided not to follow what everybody. I never follow what everybody else does. I'm kind of
You're
an innovator.
yes, you are.
So we actually set up we changed our concept to immersive theater music experience at Cheers, our restaurant, and in our banquet facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And during the pandemic, we also acquired 2 banquet companies and event design company and 3 cafeterias. So we got more, but now we're kind of combining it all together under one thought, one way to do it. So we have entertainers in cafeterias now singing, bringing people up, because I think people need to be up and people need to be positive.
Right.
And positive.
So let me clarify this for everybody out there. Here we are struggling to find staff and help and whatnot, and our teammates. And Craig's like, you know what? Let's get creative. We went to the drama or the community college, was it?
Right. We went through actually a 4-year Albright College.
Okay.
And we hired the whole music department.
Yeah. So he also needs people who are aspiring singers and performers. He hires them to be singing waitresses and waiters and servers. And now these people have this opportunity to practice their skill, put it on their resume. He serves the need that he needs servers, and he's creating the most amazing experience for his guests. It's just
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, my friends. This guy, you've got to be following Craig. If you're not on LinkedIn with him, he's just a beautiful human being. I love it.
Yeah, we hired 24 people, and
amazing.
Yeah, and we have a catering. We're doing catering right now for, 300 outside a day. Maybe inside is still not as busy, but we have a 900 on next Tuesday, and we have plenty of help to do 900 people.
That's awesome. So now tell everybody about the pianos out front of your hotel.
Well, I have 2 pianos out front. I put there when we opened. I called it, this was 6 years ago, before anybody said diversity. I said, this is the most diversified spot in the world, because homeless people come by, people from theaters go by, presidents of companies walk by these pianos. It's at the entrance, 2 of them at the entrance. And that's what happened. We've had very famous people play them. Homeless people play them. I donate them to children that don't have anything. If they come in, they're playing and they enjoy it and they're making a trip to there, then I donate a piano to them. So I have now, I think 12 pianos at the hotel.
I love it. And where are you finding these pianos?
Well, people know what I do with this. People believe in what we're doing as a community. They know they want to get rid of pianos because they're downsizing.
Got it.
I'm kind of like the piano man. Because we have a few pianos in the lot. We have 1 piano in the lobby and 1 back on the banquet hall, and then I have them in storage to give away, or to move outside to somebody else that wants to duplicate us.
So that's what
we started a bee farm.
A bee. Oh, I know about that. Yes. See, there's so many things I can say. Tell them about this. Tell them about that. There's just so many amazing things. And our subject today that you wanted to kind of tap on, and we're just going to keep rolling this conversation, is what was it you wanted to really focus on between be confident, be empowered, and lead from the heart? What spoke to you?
Well, it's always me, lead from the heart.
Yes. And that's what I'm talking about, my friends. If you're listening, Craig really walks that talk of leading from the heart. This is everything he does starts from that place. And you might be out there thinking, wow, that's a great idea, but I don't have pianos. I don't have this. I don't have that. Craig didn't either. And then he leads from the heart and starts something. And then other people hear about what he's doing and they want to be a part of it. Lead from the heart, begin with what you have, just get out there and do it. And then as people learn about what you're doing, they're going to want to help you do it. And you can share a million examples of just that. And I love it so much, to the point where Kyle Allison, a lot of you know our a fellow Wise Pineapple, Kyle Allison, he heard about Craig, drove during the pandemic to visit and mentor with him and learn from him. And he created a whole documentary on what Craig's done. It sounds like everyone's having a good time over there.
Yeah, it's actually across the lake, but you can hear. The fortunate thing is the sound travels.
No, it's totally fine. Everybody's enjoying the dogs. We're all dog lovers.
That's not my dog.
We're all dog lovers. But so the name of the documentary is "Follow Me and I Will Be Behind You." Right? Did I get that right? Right. And it was wonderful. I got to go to the premiere and I was just flabbergasted. They did an incredible job. And that's where I learned even more about Craig and all the things that his team has done. So tell us, what message do you really want to send home with that? Follow me and I will be behind you.
Well, that's a great question. So I looked at what Mahatma Gandhi did, Martin Luther King did, Jesus Christ did, and said, they all said, follow me. One to the sea, one to the top of the mountain, and one to the glory land.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? These are legacies. These are people that started with a movement and follow me. So I have to be the great example. And that's what I did in the city of Reading when I came here. I sat on the curbs with people. I met every shop owner because I had to learn from the point of impact. I call it the center of influence. What's happening? Because everybody will tell you a story, but the real story is told on the street, on the curb, from the ground up.
Right.
And I thought, okay, I understood it, and I had to lead a whole city to believe in this hotel, and just like now, we have to lead people to believe we're going to get through the pandemic. It's the same process.
Yes.
So I have to be worthy of being followed. So my behaviors have to be worthy of being followed. It has to be purposeful for what our mission is. So we never changed the mission of changing the city. So when we hire people, I have people, they follow my behavior. It's a behavior situation. And when you change the behavior, you'll change the environment. But you can't change the environment and then change the behavior. That doesn't work. You know,
right.
If the hotel didn't have, the behavior had to go in front of the environment.
Absolutely. Just to give an example, just to give an example for everyone out there, I've consulted for 30-year-old hotels and brand spanking new hotels. And if you're not following the processes and having the behavior and leading from the heart, it doesn't matter if your building's brand new or 30 years old, you're not going to get the results you want.
No, you're not.
The behavior and the habits you show up with every day.
And you as a leader, everybody is a leader. It doesn't matter if it's a hotel or a restaurant or Walmart.
Right.
You know in 2 seconds when you walk in if it has good leadership or bad.
You do.
It's in one, and you have made up your mind whether you're going to spend how much money or you're not going to spend any money at all.
Or if you're coming back
from that entranceway, and that okay, is this going to be a good experience?
Yes.
But people need to follow somebody that's worthy. The great thing about it is they follow you, you will become better. That's what made me get better. Not me, but knowing that I was on stage and I was leading people, I had to have the right behaviors that people wanted to lead.
Yes.
Or follow. So if I'm the guy that picks up the first piece of paper, I'm the guy that cleans the sink, I'm the guy that does this, but then everybody does. Now, be behind you. That's the critical thing. So in where we're at in a marginalized community, I hired, by the way, 60 people with felonies. One of the problems why they go back to prison is nobody's ever behind them. They went to jail because no one's behind them. They come out, nobody's behind them, and then they go back again. So I knew that if I stay behind them, like a father would, or like a mother, father would stay
like
behind
anyone who cares about them.
It's all about caring.
Yes. Lead from the
And
heart.
then they know they can fail, and they know that it's okay because you have my back. That's the critical thing. You got to have their back. You can't throw them under the bus, and you have to fight for these people. If your ownership is not fighting for them, and you're not, then you're not going to win. You got to go to battle with a plan, a good plan, but a heart-connected plan about people. The bad thing right now is people now realizing how important people are because of this pandemic.
How funny is that?
The good thing is that there's a way to get there.
Yes.
Most of the people that call me are manufacturers. To speak to them are manufacturers or SHRM groups, human resource groups, state groups. Hotels don't call me. Only Kyle and a major hotel company met with me. But
interesting.
The people that are interested, it's funny to me that I get more calls from associations and cities, and hotels are not interested. I would be interested. We're number one in everything. We're always we still are. We own the market. We were able to acquire businesses while this shut down, and we're going to be great in those businesses. And we have plans to grow those.
So let me ask you, did the associations and the SHRM, do they call you like looking for information? What are you doing? Give us your tips, consult us?
I don't even consult. I just want to help people.
So yeah, exactly. Right.
This is not maybe they call me because I'm free. but 900 people show up a lot of times. Well, that's probably a good size one. But usually they're pretty large groups of people.
Okay.
I'd say 100 to 900, maybe 2,000 once.
Right.
To hear the story. So I know people want it. And I know it changes lives.
Yes.
Actually, I'm speaking to 1,000 at the end of the month.
Wonderful.
They're all in the school system because they're broken. They're mad. They're angry. They're afraid. But you don't have to be afraid of this. You don't have to run from the pandemic. When the pandemic came, I said to the people with me that day, we're going to run ahead of this. We're never going to run behind it because you got to stay ahead of the game. Right. And we did pretty good with it, running ahead. And I had their backs. We had some.
I was going to ask, did you do anything unique to try to make sure you didn't lay people off or kept people on? Did you do anything unique in that aspect?
Oh, yeah, I did. So we have 8 suites that are floor to ceiling windows facing the city.
Nice.
And this is a city that the people moved out of because they didn't like it. And I turned those into to posh dining rooms.
Oh, right. I remember.
And so they would be in the suite, but I just removed everything. I kept a couch and a little sexy area, and we lit it up. We called the people, said, what color do you like? So we lit the room up that way. What music do you want? So we had that music playing. And then they walked in at night, and they would have this great dinner looking at a city that they used to not like, and they would cry. These people came and cried, and they paid $100 a head.
Oh my gosh!
And then $100 to stay overnight. So maybe it was 100, maybe it was 200. Yeah. But we were getting over $1,000 a night on those rooms, and we sold them out almost every night. So we had sold 8 rooms out.
That's amazing. I love that. And here's another thing everybody that's listening as a great thought is I often talk about recruiting and how we can do that better and how we can get more creative, but it's not, another tip for recruiting is not to recruit at all. It's to attract. What are you doing to put out in the world? What a great place it is to work for you. But the things that Craig does, he doesn't even like pay for advertising or anything. It's just the things he does, he promotes on social media. He shares. He will share great things about his associates and whatnot. And just from those small things, word of mouth travels. The experience it is to work for him, the experience is to stay at that hotel, and people are attracted to what he does, and people are waiting in line to work for Craig. So
including executives of other companies.
Exactly. And so what can you do to attract people to your location rather than having to go out and find them and recruit them? Think about that too.
Exactly.
Yeah, love it so much.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
If you look backward, it's hard. If you look at today and tomorrow and the next tomorrow, it's real easy to be successful.
Yes.
It's really hard. It's really, really hard to have that rearview mirror. I don't think I ever have in my lifetime. So I did okay.
Yes. And it's funny because when I do look in the rearview mirror, because I'm a forever student. I'm always learning, and I feel like I've always done. I've always prided myself on my results and felt I was really good at what I do. But I look back and I'm like, I had so much to learn, and I know I still have so much to learn. And even when I look back on, some of what I've done and whatnot, I'm just like, oh, if I knew then what I know now, I could even do it better. And
so we're learning. We're also learning hotel.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time learning. Our morning shifts, our morning stand-ups, they're longer than most people. In fact, they're probably longer than anybody's.
I love it.
But they're not about what's happening in hotels. This is the why we're doing it today. This is what's happening. This is why we do it. These are the people coming. This is their personalities. This is the empathy. So I spend probably 45 minutes or an hour every day on these meetings, because they're learning meetings. But if you look backwards and learn and don't do anything with it, you might as well not look backwards. So we learn, but we learned how to move forward with it. Never, it's never like, well, this is what we learned. I'm the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
The smartest guy in the room is the people that are closest to the impact.
Yeah.
Not me. I had a meeting with someone today about that. I said, look, the waitress knows a lot more than you do about that dining room. And the bartender knows a lot more about it. I said, you're asking me, and I'm going to tell you what I know. But the most important thing is they know more than you do and me.
Yes. So I've never heard that phrase before. I've always had that awareness, but I love that. The smartest people in the room are the people closest to the impact. I love that.
It's the point of impact. That's where everything happens.
It is.
They call it the center influence. That's one of the ways to describe it.
Yes.
What's the center? And then you build from that and work from that. But the point of impact is exactly where that's where the, what do you say, the hits the road or whatever.
Yes. I love it. Well, Craig, I could keep you all day and talk to you all day. I would literally love to just sit here for an evening. We're going to plan a dinner and just kibitz. But
I would love that.
As the chief fun officer here at the Wise Pineapple, I always love to make room for a little bit of fun. So I had a fun question for you. It's probably not as fun as I should have made it, but I thought, okay, I'm going to ask you this because you're such a heart person and you do so much for communities. So it's a two-part question. First part is, if I could give you, I wish I could, if I could give you $100,000 right now to donate to any charity or organization or effort, what would you want to do with that $100,000 right now?
I would donate it to actually two things. I have to say two. I'd split it.
You'll split it.
I would give $50,000 for paint abatement for houses.
Oh, I love that.
Because children are getting paint poisoning, lead poisoning, and it slows their systems down, and then they make bad decisions the rest of their life. And that's a big cause of homelessness and evictions. And then the other part would be, I would give it to people for financial learning.
Yes. To become independently financial independent.
I call it financial awareness. They call it financial literacy. But
I love that.
People, what we found out is if you say literacy and I go there, that means I'm illiterate.
Right.
So we changed it to awareness. And these are two big things I'm working on right now. So this is where I'm spending my time. Healthy community, making sound decisions.
Yes.
And getting the next generation right. And the reason I go to the lead poisoning is because I went into the homeless communities and studied this for probably 40 years or 50 years. Where I sat on the curbs in Washington, D.C. in 1970, where I had a restaurant. And I learned from them, and then I didn't quite understand it. And then I thought, I found out a lot of people that are homeless have been evicted. So I started getting involved with landlords and tenants to get educated.
Right.
And then I thought, you know what, they're getting evicted because they're making poor choices and because they don't have financial literacy. And so I got involved in that. And then I thought, well, the point of impact, why is this happening? It goes back to the paint. And I thought, okay, this paint, we got to fix the paint.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do in our hotel, and I know it'll take a few more seconds.
Oh, sure.
Because we could all do this. This is not hard. We're trying to build a community. If this works for inner city hotels particularly, or if you hire people from the inner city and you bus them to your hotel, and which a lot of people are probably doing now.
Yes.
The key here is if this is our goal, is we're trying to create communities with 700 credit scores. So I think you'll find out if you were to search poor areas or the areas where people. Am I on this by myself or did you disappear? Okay.
I'm here with you.
I thought everybody hung up on me.
No.
But,
we're all here with you.
But this is important. 700 credit scores. People don't get divorced as much. There's not as much crime. It's clean and safe. People graduate from high school. They continue on. A lot of people on a call, they might have cash, and it's not about you, the people listening, but it's about the people who work for you.
Right.
If you take care of them, and if we take care of them as a hotel community, and we can grow the credit scores, you're going to find out the maids that are coming out, the housekeepers, some of the housemen, some of the banquet people, their credit scores are 250, 300 and less. And you can go Google it and find out yourself or do your own study, but you're going to find that's true. And when you find that's true, then if you can increase their self-esteem because my credit's up, I'm not hiding my car, I'm not worried about being evicted, I'm not sick, and they know that you're building that, they don't quit you. They stay with you. But you have to follow me. Let me show you how to do it, and I'll get you there. So sometimes you have to help them financially. We paid for two people because they were running. They didn't have their green cards are running out, and they were panicky. I said, well, this is not hard. So we sent them to English is from Spanish to English. We got them financial right. We moved their credit scores up, and then we got them their citizenship. So it wasn't that much money to change a life.
Right. It just needs the heart, and here have someone care about you. And thinking about this, I knew if I asked you this question, Craig, that I was going to hear something much different and much more impactful than, I would donate it to St. Jude's or run a McDonald's house. I knew you were going to have answers that were so much more impactful. And that's why everybody out there, I just encourage you to follow Craig, connect with him on LinkedIn, because he thinks differently. there are so many ways we can tap into and help the livelihood of the people who we work with or we are surrounded by. And Craig will get you started thinking differently, something we've never really maybe seen in our lifetimes. We never had that example. We weren't following anybody who had those thoughts. Follow Craig and he'll be behind you.
And I'll be behind you. Absolutely. I will.
Exactly.
I will be behind you if you follow me. Like Kyle Allison. I talked to him yesterday. Whether he likes it or not,
I know.
I'm behind him. And I'm staying behind him because I believe in him. And I want people like Kyle to be so successful.
Yep, me too. I messaged him yesterday too, and he just emails me like, "Thanks for checking in."
Well, he took a bad situation. They're hard, and
with heart, he wants to do his best. Exactly. I love it. That's why I told him. I said, "Kyle, you have an army of people out here ready to support you. You've got this."
Yeah.
It's awesome. All right. Well, we've got to wrap it up. And you know how we end every huddle, Craig, and that's with great energy because energy is everything. So what's our phrase of the day?
Humanized profit.
Yes. All right. Wherever you are listening, whether it's the washroom, the lobby, your office, your home, your car, I want you to put your hand in with Craig and I. And Craig, I want you to count us down.
Is my hand in? There it is.
Yeah, I see it, Craig. Craig, count us down to 3. We're going to say humanized profit.
1, a 2, and a 3. Humanized
profit. Craig, you are the bomb.com. I am so honored to be connected and friends with you. And thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. To connect with me.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes. Tell everybody how they can connect with you. I almost forgot that.
The best way is on LinkedIn and on Facebook.
Perfect.
So that's the best way. I have a lot of people. I have like 10,000 people over 10,000 on LinkedIn, and we get a lot of hits. And people make a lot of comments. It's not what I write. It's I write, and then what the question is, what are people responding to that?
Yeah.
So the responses
Craig, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
That's it. You hear a lot of good responses.
A lot of great responses. A lot of great dialogue around the things that Craig does. But also, Craig is one of our Wise Pineapple members. He's part of the tribe. So you can also find him in our group too. Whoop, whoop. Yes, all right. I got Craig too. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. Craig, my friend, you have a great day. Enjoy those mountains, and thank you so much for being here.
Okay. Bye-bye.